Hello everyone. Did you know that over 63 million people in India are estimated to be affected by hearing loss? And a large share of this could actually have been prevented. How is India working to address this silent but widespread problem? Let us explore the National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness, commonly known as NPPCD. The National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness began as a pilot phase in 2007, covering just 25 districts across 11 states and union territories. Since then, it has expanded dramatically, and by 2024, it now operates across 587 districts, spanning 36 states and union territories, functioning comprehensively under the National Health Mission framework. The way this program is financed has also evolved over time. Before 2014, funds were routed through state health societies. From 2014 to 2015, financing moved through the treasury route. Between 2015 and 2016, the program was integrated into the National Health Mission, and in the financial year 2022 to 23, the National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness budget was merged with the strengthening National Program Management component of the National Rural Health Mission in the budget estimates. The burden of auditory impairment, meaning hearing loss, in India is significant. According to the World Health Organization, an estimated 63 million individuals are affected. The national prevalence of significant auditory impairment stands at 6.3%. According to the National Sample Survey Office, 291 people per 1 lakh population suffer from severe to profound hearing loss. This burden has a severe impact on children between 0 and 14 years of age, leading to profound physical and economic productivity loss. The program has a clear vision and mission guiding its work. The vision is to integrate ear care seamlessly into primary healthcare with a target of reducing the overall prevalence of deafness to below 1%. The mission is to eradicate preventable hearing loss and to medically empower and rehabilitate affected individuals across all age groups. The program follows phased objectives to reduce disease burden. At its core, the goal is to prevent avoidable hearing loss caused by disease or injury and to ensure early identification, diagnosis, and medical or surgical treatment. Around this core, the program also works to strengthen intersectoral linkages for continuous medical rehabilitation with an overall target of reducing the total disease burden of hearing impairment by 25% from baseline levels. The strategic goals of the National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness rest on three main pillars. The first is service delivery, which aims to strengthen ear care services and develop institutional capacity at district hospitals, community health centers, and primary health centers selected under the program. The second is human resources, which focuses on developing skilled personnel for ear care services. The third is public awareness, which promotes information, education, and communication strategies, commonly known as IEC strategies, with special emphasis on the prevention of deafness. The core components of the program come together like four connected pieces. The first is manpower, training, and development, where training is provided for prevention, early identification, and management of hearing impaired and deafness cases, extending from medical college level specialists in ear, nose, and throat, commonly known as ENT, and audiology, down to grassroots level workers. The second is capacity building, focused on strengthening ear, nose, and throat and audiology infrastructure at district hospitals, community health centers, and primary health centers. The third is service provision, covering early detection and management of hearing and speech impaired cases and rehabilitation across different levels of the healthcare delivery system. The fourth is awareness generation, carried out through information, education, and communication, and behavior change communication activities commonly known as IEC and BCC activities, aimed at early identification of hearing impaired individuals, especially children, so that timely management is possible and the stigma attached to deafness can be removed. The program is expected to deliver several outcomes and systemic benefits. At the center is a decreased magnitude and severity of ear morbidity and hearing impairment. Surrounding this is improved clinical treatment for root and impairment, better referral networks and service pathways for patients, and enhanced capacity building and infrastructure at the district hospital level. All of this is supported by broad awareness creation that trickles down to the grassroots through primary health center medical officers and lower level health workers. The clinical pathway for patients moves through 4 stages. It begins with neonatal and screening, where universal high risk otoacoustic emission screening, known as OAE screening, is conducted. And if a child fails the screening 3 times, they are referred for Brainstem Evoked Response Audiometry, known as BERA, for children between 0 and 15 years. This is followed by diagnostics, which includes audiometry to assess decreased hearing, chronic suppurative otitis media, known as KSOM, and fitness for pre and post operative care, along with impedance testing for middle ear pathologies. Next comes intervention, which includes surgical procedures for chronic suppurative otitis media performed by ear, nose, and throat specialists under the National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness, such as tympanoplasty and mastoidectomy, along with hearing aid fitting supported by the Mukhyamantri Jan Arogya Yojana, corporate social responsibility initiatives, and non-governmental organizations. Finally, rehabilitation and administration includes speech therapy for children with mental retardation, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, known as ADHD, autism or hearing impairment, along with unique disability identity, known as UDID, online certificates and disability cards, and referral to higher centers for cochlear implants. The program follows a clear administrative structure. At the national level sits the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and the Directorate General of Health Services, represented by the National Program Officer. Below this is the state level, managed by the State Health Society through a state nodal officer. Next is the district level, managed by the District Health Society or District Hospital, involving ear, nose, and throat specialists and audiologists. Below this is the sub-district level, covering community health centers and primary health centers. And at the base is the grassroots level, supported by frontline community health workers, including accredited social health activists and auxiliary nurse midwives, looking at the program through a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats lens. Its strengths include extensive administrative reach through the National Health Mission and a structured, tiered training framework extending from grassroots workers to specialists. Its opportunities include integrating teleaudiology and digital health technology for remote screening and expanding public-private and non-governmental organization partnerships for specialized screening camps. Its weaknesses include gaps in rural diagnostic equipment upkeep and device maintenance, and a critical shortage of specialized audiological manpower in remote regions. Its threats include the rising threat of urban noise-induced hearing loss from unsafe personal audio use and high dropout rates in pediatric speech rehabilitation follow-ups. To bring this all together, the program has grown remarkably in scale and reach, evolving from a 25-district pilot in 2007 to a 587-district national program spanning 36 states and union territories, fully integrated under the National Health Mission framework. In terms of clinical impact, a comprehensive institutional pathway has been established, covering everything from universal neonatal otoacoustic emission screening through to advanced surgical procedures like tympanoplasty and rehabilitative interventions. And in terms of tangible results, nearly 3 million citizens were screened in 2024 to 2025, driving strong momentum toward the ultimate objective of a 25% reduction in the national disease burden of hearing impairment. Hope you have understood about the National Program for Prevention and Control of Deafness. If you found this video useful, please watch and share with your friends and colleagues. Thank you.